and happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you.
Welcome back into the studio.
Yes, everything seems to be in order.
Yeah, nothing got overturned. We didn't do Jesus cleansing the temple on Tuesday, so
Yeah, that would be quite the Tuesday.
it would be. Where's
Yeah.
Pastor Brian?
Yes.
Flipping
Well,
tables,
here I am.
Right?
Yes.
Braiding a whip to,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's only in John, though, that he breaks out the whips.
The whip is only in John.
Yeah.
That's right.
The rest of it's just table flipping.
Yeah. He could do it on his own
Yeah, right?
without a whip
right.
of cords.
Exactly, but it adds a little something when Jesus is like braiding a whip as we like. Just hold on a second, guys. I got something to.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Little Raiders of the Lost Ark right
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So
Well, a whip shows you mean business.
it does.
If you walk
It
into
does.
any kind of meeting with a whip,
or a restaurant,
you mean business.
a grocery store.
Yep.
If you bring in a whip, they're like, we're not going to mess around.
Yeah.
We're going to give you that extra 10% off.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you are a senior citizen or a veteran or not, we're gonna with a whip, you're getting the discount.
I don't know if you'd always get the discount or just get the
Police to come.
police
Yeah.
to come.
Or Metro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be that too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Tuesday, I let everybody know it was Veterans Day. We were
Veterans Day.
closed. You were with your kids because they had the day off.
Yep.
And since then, we've regrouped and pushing on towards the weekend here.
Yeah, we are flying through November. How about that?
I forgot to tell you today. I went back to the dentist yesterday.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear
Yeah.
how it all turned out this week.
So, in the further adventures of dental work and myself, we did some more jawbone grinding this week.
Oh, they did have to take it down a little bit more.
I could feel a little bit back there, and I just like I'm just gonna wait till I see Dr. Greg, and he was like, "Yep, you got a little bit more." So he scraped it down,
Wow.
and then he said, "That's it, you're done. I'll see you next year." So
So you don't have to go in. There's no follow up to that unless there's extra pain or something.
well, yeah, exactly for that. Now I have a regular dentist appointment, same office, on Monday with Dr. Lay,
Oh,
who I actually saw yesterday, one of the other dentists,
yeah.
and they were talking about a dental procedure in the room next door, in my cubicle.
Using it to discuss
Yes.
their dental plots.
Yes, I don't know if they're breaking any HIPAA rules, but so that was going on, and I'm in the chair, I'm reclined, right?
Yeah.
And I turned around and I said to
Drill still in your mouth, going away.
I said to Dr. Lay, I said, look, I need you to be a little bit more positive about what you're talking about because I have an appointment on Monday, and all I want to hear is good things, not negative things.
Yes.
And then I sat back in my chair.
Yeah.
So that's what I literally did that, and she started laughing. So I think we're okay.
See, I think you're okay.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
we're okay.
Yeah, it's a lot like me. I only like to hear good news at church.
That's right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Only the good things.
Yep. The good news is we have a new hot water heater.
Great.
I'm not going to tell you what it took to get there.
Yeah. Don't tell me the cost.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I just want the good news.
I just want to know we have hot water. That's all I want to know. So, so anyway, so yes, so technically I am done until the next step, and he said we're just gonna start. We're gonna let your mouth heal more. February.
But they're going to keep your teeth clean.
Yes, so I'm gonna do minor stuff Monday, but the next big thing isn't until February now. So.
Wow.
Yep. So I won't be drooling on Christmas Eve because they numbed me beyond normal measures. None of that. So,
Okay.
yep. So I'll still
Only the
have
normal measures.
normal. So I'll still have a little hole in the side of my, over here. So
But they'll soon to take care of it all. Because,
yeah,
before we know it, it's going to be the new year.
it is. It is. I
And-
mean, we're November 13th today, so
How
we're
about
getting
that?
there.
How about that?
Yeah. And now on the personal front, on Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday night was the visitation for my father-in-law.
Yeah.
He passed. And so in Galesburg, Illinois, which is a small town in western Illinois, small city, did visitation. And then yesterday morning was the funeral service at St. Patrick's Roman Catholic Parish in Galesburg, Illinois. Graveside service, then a funeral lunch afterwards. And so all of the stuff related to...
It all went well?
All went well.
Okay. And is Rachel's family, is that still her dad's family, is that primarily in that area?
No,
Or they're all kind of all
they're
over?
They're primarily, not exclusively, but primarily in northeast Iowa.
Okay.
Because there was it still is, a family farm that was purchased by great-grandparents that passed on to grandparents, and that whole family was raised at that family farm. All of my father-in-law's brothers and sisters, 12, you know, big Roman Catholic family. And then most of them still live in northern Iowa, northeast Iowa, and then a few are here, there, and everywhere, but mostly northern Iowa.
Okay.
So, so a good number of those folks, Rachel's aunts and uncles, came, and so today she's coming home tomorrow, provided air traffic control will allow it. We don't know. I know that's not a joke. It's just we're planning.
This is where we're at.
We're planning on
this
Rachel
is-
coming home,
Yeah.
but she is finishing off all sorts of, business related to her father passing in. She was at the attorney offices today because there's a lot to deal with. So she was at the attorney's office. She was shredding documents today. Learned something today that you can go to UPS, at least in Galesburg, Illinois, and they will shred documents for you
I think I've heard that.
for a cost, not for free. So she was shredding documents. She was dealing with the attorney. She's doing a few other things, and I talked to her this afternoon for a little bit, and then hopefully tomorrow, flights. I think she's going Moline, Illinois, which is where I grew up in that area. Moline to Chicago, so that's like a little puddle jumper kind of plane.
Yeah.
About 45 minutes over to Chicago, and then Chicago back here if all goes well. So
Wow.
that's what we got going on. So
But yeah, you kind of, at some point, it's out of your hands.
It is.
She'll get home
when she gets
when
home.
she gets home, but she'll
Yep.
be here and just.
And luckily we have enough friends in Chicagoland, because we used to live in Chicago,
Yeah.
that if she got stranded in Chicago, it's not the end of the world. Like we have enough people we can just, friends, we can go, hey, can I crash on your sofa, right? Like, so that I'm not concerned, other than me personally disappointed if she doesn't make it home, that
Yeah.
we
It
would have a
would be
pool
nice to,
get her home. But
Yeah,
if
be
not,
home.
we got options, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Um,
Good way to look at it.
Yep. And, we come into this weekend and we're continuing on in our core values series,
Yes.
talking a little bit about
We've done welcome and worship.
going to talk about learning. And it's fascinating. When you get to learning, you think, how boring is that, right? How do you preach on learning, right?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to maybe it goes back to just the, school as a kid,
Yeah.
where I talk to kids, and not too many kids are enthused about getting to go to school the next
Right.
day.
Yeah.
It's just like it's
What's your favorite stuff? Recess, lunch, right?
yes,
Yeah.
right.
And which they could say the same thing here, right? What's the best part of church? The food Linda makes and when we leave, right? Yeah,
But there is something when you honestly are learning something new, and something clicks, and you discover something. There is something really holy,
about that.
sacred about that.
And so I hope to inspire all of us who are going to attend this weekend, online or in person, that learning isn't boring.
You're going to make learning super amazing.
That's
and
right.
fun.
I am.
Yeah.
I am going to make it fun.
Yeah.
That's at least I'm going to try. So
You are.
But I'm actually been wrestling with this all week. Not the boring part, but but like, what does this mean for us as Christians to be? And I'm going to use the term intellectually curious.
Yeah.
Why is that a good thing? And what does that do for us? And that's the stuff I'm going to talk about this
I love
weekend.
it.
So,
I love it.
but yeah, so other than that, just plate is full. Life is busy.
Life is busy. And
So,
here we are.
Yeah. So this this song you're going to hear today was not in worship last weekend.
No.
We
But it was offered last weekend.
No,
Or on, I should say.
All
All
Saints,
Saints.
but not on All Saints worship.
Mm-hmm.
We are taking a clip from a song from the All Saints concert from a couple of weeks ago. And I'll give you a little teaser. This song is a Keith Thompson original. And since we had not, there was so much good stuff in that concert, we wanted to come back and bring, if you didn't get to attend or you didn't watch it online, this is an excellent chance for you to hear a beautiful song sung by our own Shane Peterson, but written by Keith Thompson.
All right.
So with that, let's take a listen, and we'll come back afterwards.
Well, they say you had to go now, but I never will know why. 'Cause I never got to hold you or to say my last goodbye. But somehow I feel you near me, anywhere that I may be. 'Cause your love lives on in me. There is never any reason why the good are taken young. For so many words unspoken and so many songs unsung. But I know that you don't suffer, and I know your soul is free, and your love lives on in me. Just like a candle in the night, you filled my life with loving light. You are an angel in disguise, and so the angels took you to the skies. When I sit in meditation, I can see your face again. I feel the pain of your frustration, hear your laughter in the wind. And I believe you know my secrets and the truth I try to hide. 'Cause your love lives on inside. And if my life goes on for years, I will recall your joy, your tears. You ran the race, you fought the fight. You keep your faith inside a higher light. So I'll keep your memory stirring. I will keep your name alive. I will keep your fire burning.
love that.
Wow. Wow.
Just a
Such
beautiful
a powerful
song.
message to it. Yeah.
And first of all, we just can't appreciate enough the gifts that Keith Thompson shares with us. But one of the things, at least when we look at, just me personally thinking about when Keith Thompson writes a song, it's never written in a vacuum. Meaning there's a purpose of what he is expressing. We can think about the Easter song "Roll the Stone Away" that he wrote, and he's thinking about Easter and breaking out of that darkness in our lives. We need each other now, not written in a vacuum, written in response to the struggle of the pandemic and all of that was
Right.
going on.
Yeah, what
And
we're dealing
so, if nothing else, we know that this wasn't just, I think I'll write a song about this, that there was intention about someone or several someones on Keith's mind when he wrote this. And I give thanks that Keith expresses himself musically that can be shared with us, with you, and we can relate those lyrics and the music to people in our lives too, right? And
I mean,
so,
we all go through these feelings of grief,
That's right.
and how we can respond, and how we can continue to let that love impact us.
That's right.
And move us.
and I say this not at every funeral, but when I think about funerals and celebrations of life and memorials, one of the gifts that we have been given is the gift of memory. And the way our minds work is different than probably the rest of the animal kingdom. Not that other parts of the animal kingdom don't have memories, but not the way that we can articulate them.
Right.
And so a gift of God is the ability to remember and tell stories and to share the gifts that folks have imparted to us in the experiences that we have had with them.
And we can to continue to share those
And we
stories.
can share those stories.
Yeah.
And so I think that one of the gifts of God is that we can remember somebody, and as the song says, that their love can live on in our hearts. And it is a beautiful thing to reminisce and tell stories and remember someone's life. And I think that is a gift. And of course, what comes with that can be renewed grief, remembering somebody, of course. But at the same time, that's way better than never talking about them again or pretending they never existed.
It's important. It
Yeah.
is walking, but grieving is not easy, and
It
it
is
doesn't
not.
mean that we should hide that away or push that down, but it is love, that love still binds us together, and it's that
That's right.
reminder that that is still binding us together.
That's right. And the legacy, I mean, you think about the positive or the uplifting stories of somebody you've said goodbye to, and you tell that story, that's the legacy they live behind, and you can choose to live into that legacy or to say, well, that thing or that quality or whatever that died with them.
Yeah.
Or you can say, that was admirable. I want to make sure I incorporate that quality into the things that I say and do for a living. So there's choices there in our grief, and even moving on is, do we live into the best parts of someone's life that impacted us so much?
Yeah.
And that's really left to the individual and how they process grief, as whether you live into a legacy or just say, well, that's over, that's done, the end. And I prefer to think about every one of us is not only the sum of our experiences, which we are, but we're also standing on the shoulders of those who raised us and mentored us and cared
Absolutely.
for us. And that is also a part of our formation. So in essence, we've already taken on a part of that other person who's impacted us.
Yeah, even if those people are long
But
gone.
long gone. And so I think it's good to tell the stories. It's good to remember, and it's good to live into the best qualities of a human being that we loved or cared for or went before us.
Absolutely.
And yet at the same time, as people of faith, what do we hold on to the fact that it's not an ending. There may be a pause, what feels like a pause in a relationship when somebody dies.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back and look at some other passages about reminding us about what is the hope that we hold on to and what's God's response. So, for example, earliest New Testament book, 1 Thessalonians. It's the earliest thing of the entire New Testament is 1 Thessalonians. That even in the best guesswork of dating, kind of when was Mark or Matthew written, and those are all guesses, of course. But even with all of that guesswork, there is zero argument that 1 Thessalonians was probably the earliest thing that we have
New Testament.
in the New Testament.
Yeah.
The earliest letter written before the Gospels. This is what we have. And so some interesting stuff in here. So, for example, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, this is St. Paul writing to the church in Thessalonica. He says, "Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be ignorant about those who fall asleep." And he's talking about people who've died. "Or to grieve like the rest of humanity who have no hope. We believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. According to the Lord's own word, we tell you that we who are still alive, who are left till the coming of the Lord, will certainly not precede those who have fallen asleep." A lot of stuff in there. But there's a couple of things in here that I just really want to lift up. He's like, first of all, it's okay to grieve, but don't be hopeless in your grief.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say don't grieve. He's just saying, just don't be like people who don't even have faith, who have nothing to look forward to. Like there's nothing beyond death. And he's like, don't grieve as those who have no hope. He said, you can grieve, but know that there's more ahead.
Yeah.
And then secondly, if this is the earliest writing that we have, he's like, first of all, we know that Jesus died and rose again. He says that. And he says, and there will come a point that we will be all reunited. And remember, in Paul's time, he's thinking that Jesus is going to come back like in the next 20 minutes. Like there was just kind of this feeling or this expectation that, yeah, it's just going to be a little while and then Jesus is coming back.
Right.
Jesus died. It took him 3 days. He came back. Like it's going to be a couple years. Boom, he's back.
He'll
we're
be
done.
back.
So there was this understanding, or at least hope, that Jesus was going to come back sooner. They never predicted when. They just didn't think it would be long. And he's like, look, when Jesus comes, those who have died are going to be with him. Like, we're all going to have this big family reunion. And then he says this, and this is what I find fascinating, because think about it. The Gospels haven't been written yet, okay?
Right.
According to the Lord's own word, we tell you that those who are still alive, who are left till the coming of the Lord, will not precede those who have fallen asleep. So they're already telling and retelling the story of Jesus.
They are.
I mean, at this point, and there comes a point where people are like, we got to write this stuff down. We thought he was coming back immediately, and we didn't need to write it down, but now it's pretty clear we need to preserve some of these teachings and what happened. So even at the time of this writing of this letter, they're already like sharing, like, oh, remember when Jesus said this, and remember when Jesus said that. And there is a point in the Olivet Discourse in Matthew, which is the last week of his life. He's kind of talking about end time stuff. And one of the things he talks about, he's like, yeah, when I come back, I'm going to call y'all. I'm just going to call all the faithful to me. And when I call you all to me, those who have already gone ahead, they'll be there too. So in other words, he's even saying, Jesus said, and it's not even written down yet, but Jesus said, there will be a family reunion one day.
Yeah.
And so the mechanics of, being called, up is immaterial to the basic theme of Jesus said, one day we'll all be together. Like, you boil it all down, that's what he's saying. How that happens is less important. You know, people get bogged down in details, right?
You certainly can, but I like that. What's important is that we're all together.
Yep.
And that we have that relationship with Jesus that has never failed.
Never fails. And I just love the fact that it's like Paul's like, hey, look, Jesus said this. You know, like, can you point to a gospel? Well, those haven't been written yet, but we're all telling the stories, and we remember him talking about this at one point, right? So
and there's something about it that he could feel, and I'm sure we can feel connected to the church, that we have that relationship with Jesus. Nothing can stop that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there isn't grief, though, right?
True. Very true. Very true.
But it's not the end point. Grief becomes the journey through, like Psalm 23, right? Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Jesus is like, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to hang out with you. I'm going to walk you through it. But there isn't, and when my destination ends at the valley of the shadow of death, like, that's not what it says. We have to make our way through it. So grieving is a period of time, longer for some, shorter for others. Based on how much love one has for a person, grief will be longer or shorter. But we can make it through that. Jesus is going to accompany us, but it's not an end state. And nor was it ever intended to be an end state, that we stay in a perpetual state of grief. People get stuck there. And at that point, you need the help of friends, family, therapist, and others to help you continue to move through, knowing that there is hope, that there is a future, right?
Yep.
And speaking of kind of walking through the grief and thinking about that, there's just this beautiful line in Psalm 34 that reminds us that where's God in the midst of heartbreak?
Psalm 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit.
He's going to be there.
Yeah, that line is really, really powerful. How the line of the brokenhearted. That scriptures always care for the brokenhearted and those who have seemingly lost everything or felt like they've lost everything. And
God's I'm going to
God's
show
close.
up. Yeah.
Even if you're brokenhearted, lost in your faith, God is close.
And that's the thing is and I love that, because sometimes we can mistakenly equate our faith or lack of faith with how much God's going to show up, right? Like I doubt, and I'm like, well, that means, God doesn't give a rip about me. And it's like quite the opposite, right? Even in the Sermon on the Mount, you get to that first part, and he's like, blessed are those who are poor in spirit, for they shall see God. So it's like, oh, you mean those who doubt and struggle, they want to believe, but they're not sure they believe, and I believe, but help me overcome my unbelief. I talked about that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's
right.
like, no, God's right in the middle of that. Or, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. I mean, these are all words of Jesus, right? And it's just the reminder of the amount of faith you have is not commiserate to or equal to the amount that God will show up in your life if you're struggling. Matter of fact, it could even actually be, inverse. The more you struggle and the more you doubt is the more that God's going to show up. Jesus is going to show up and try to make himself known to you, which is really good news.
Really? Yep.
Otherwise, it's like the whole, earning my way. Like, oh, am I doing enough? And am I faithful enough? And if I just do this, then I'll be successful. It's like it's the opposite of the theology of the cross. It turns into a theology of glory of, look how much I'm doing, look how great I am, and
at least I'm better than somebody else.
At least I'm better than all of that junk, which, just so you know, we firmly reject. It's like not our thing.
But it still creeps in.
It creeps in.
It creeps into every one of us. Yeah.
That's right. The Pharisee, right? Lord, at least I'm not like that tax collector.
Yep.
So
Yep.
got to get away from that, and because God loves real people. And those who know they're real and admit where they struggle. And he's like, you know what? I love the honesty. He loves the self-awareness of that. And we don't need to put on airs, pretend, be full of bluster. Just be honest about stuff.
Yep.
but God's going to show up in the midst of the struggle.
Absolutely.
Now, this last verse I want to share with you today, it just hit me different reading it by itself. Meaning, within the context, not that context isn't important, but in the context of the Last Supper, specifically in the Gospel of John, there's an extended amount of teaching in the Gospel of John at the Last Supper.
Yeah, Jesus tends to go on some long teaching dialogues
Right.
in the Gospel of John as a whole,
Yeah.
but really in that Last Supper.
In that Last Supper, which is different than Matthew, Mark, and Luke that really just deal with the giving of the new covenant, Holy Communion, the new agreement between God and humanity. John takes that time to do some extended teaching of Jesus, and part of it is him saying, you know, I'm going to be going away, I'm going to come back, and they're still like, I'm not getting, what do you mean you're going away? We don't understand. All of that's going on. And this verse I'm going to read to you is within the context of that. And if you've ever read like that section, it feels like Jesus is only talking to the disciples, okay? But I found this verse again, and without all the other stuff around it, it just hits differently because I read it as if Jesus was saying it to you today, or to me, or to us, right?
Anyone in grief.
Anyone in grief. So it hits differently when you take it out of that Last Supper moment, him only talking to the disciples, and now imagine Jesus saying something to you in this moment. Listen to this. So with you, now is your time of grief, but I will see you again, and you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy.
Mhm.
It's like hearing it for the first time.
I really like that reframing of it because
Right?
Jesus was speaking to people who were grieving
That's right.
in that context. But sometimes we forget that. I mean, I think it's important to look in context.
Right. You don't want to just throw that out, but
we can't do that to such an extent that we stop the words from speaking to us today. And they really, really are. And that really, really is right there.
So let me read it to you again, as if Jesus was speaking to you today. So now with you. Now is your time of grief, but I'll see you again, and you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. There's like a future promise there. Like, you may be struggling right now. He's like, but guess what? I'm going to pop up. I'm going to show up in your life.
Yeah.
And at the very end, you're going to see me face to face. And at that moment, you'll go, oh, everything's okay. And he said, and no one will ever be able to take away that joy from you once you experience that. I love that.
Yep.
So I hope you hold on to that. And if you want to look that up yourself, that's John 16:22. And I'm going to actually hold on to that verse
The
from
words
now
of Jesus
on.
right there.
Yeah. And like I said, I think I've got too deep in the weeds in that extended teaching where I didn't see this standing out to me as if he was just speaking it to us today. So it's John 16:22. But we're glad that you joined us today and you spent some time with us. We hope that the rest of your day goes well. Boy, I'll tell you what, though. Looks like we're having if you're not in Las Vegas, we're going to get a big weather change this weekend. Looks like temperatures
Looks like
are
it,
dropping.
doesn't it? Yeah.
It's going to be raining. There may even be, it might be time to break out the sweaters,
We are close. We are
close.
in this season now. So it is. I'm sure you've got a Thanksgiving sweater that you'd like to bust
I'm
out
sure.
at some point for.
And if you're watching from somewhere else in the nation, I will tell you, when it hits the 60s as a high here, that's sweater weather.
Okay.
Because
I think
you're
that's
not going to
fair.
get sweater weather otherwise.
Yeah,
You
that's
just-
sweater
right.
weather.
So, anyways, we hope you join us this weekend for worship, whether that's Saturday night at 5 o'clock Pacific time or Sunday morning, 8, 9:30, 11. We'd love for you to join us as we talk about the importance of learning. But anyways, we hope you have a great rest of your day. We love you. Take care. God bless you. And Philip, will you play us out?